Okay, here we are back in the game. This is episode 2, the second episode that I started on this playthrough. As I said in the first playthrough, I've only owned this game for a matter of days. I think I've had it now 4 days, 5 days, something like that. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, I've not played very much. But played the game and restarted multiple times, and I decided to record as I'm playing and learning rather than play the game, for a whole bunch of hours, and after I have everything learned and I'm semi-good at what I'm doing, then coming back and recording videos showing how to do things. Instead, I'm just going to record it as I'm playing and as I'm learning. And, so that may or may not be helpful for whoever's watching the videos. So I recorded one episode yesterday. It's already up there on the channel. And now this is the second episode. At the end of that first episode, the previous episode, I just exited out of the game suddenly without any explanation. I had some issues to take care of. I'm now back in the game, and if you watched the first episode, you probably noticed that I've had to change the resolution of my computer. I have an older computer and it doesn't play well with this game. This game causes my graphics card to overheat dramatically. So I had to tone down the resolution, and hopefully it's not toned down to the point where it makes the videos unwatchable for the rest of you. But it is what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it right now. Now let me go find a little baby. I need to pick up one of the baby monkeys. Get him on my back. As I mentioned yesterday, you need to carry at least one, preferably 2 of the babies around with you at all times while you're doing things in the game. It will boost the amount of XP, the neuronal energy that you get by having the babies on your back. By carrying them around, you gain a little bit more XP than you normally would. Okay, in yesterday's episode, I started the game and I went and rescued the baby, brought it back, and then I kind of rambled on. I didn't really have a plan when I made the video about what I wanted to show in the video, so I kind of jumped around from one subject to another without really having much of a plan. And I'm going to continue doing that. I don't really have a roadmap. I don't have a plan on what I want to do as I'm playing the game other than advancing my plan. And I don't have a plan in regards to what I want to show you in the videos. Basically, as I said, I'm just going to play the game and let you watch me play the game. And then I'll explain things a little bit as I'm going along, why I'm doing certain things. So, yesterday I rambled on, did a few things, but didn't really apply myself towards gaining any neuronal energy, any XP. So I need to work on that now. I did examine one of these branches yesterday. I've done the horsetail, which is this plant here, and I've done these berries over here. So let's wander around out here and see if we can learn a few things, start advancing our ape's brain a little bit so that we can start acquiring a few more abilities. As I said yesterday, when you examine something from a distance that you had not previously learned anything about, you'll see that question mark that appears back over here. Press the E key, and when I focus on this one, it just shows me a question mark, meaning there's something there, but I don't know what it is. My ape does not know what that thing is because I've not identified it. I mean, I've not examined it before, so that tells me I need him to go over there and look at this. The on-screen help menu that popped up indicated that I had acquired, I guess it's a form of food poisoning by eating bad food. It seems from what I've experienced so far in the game that that's a random thing that happens. I've eaten those berries before and had no problem with it, but now and then when I eat them, I will acquire the food poisoning. I don't know if that's because I failed to look closely enough at the berries to see if they were a different color. Perhaps they weren't completely ripe, or perhaps they were overripe. But as you saw, after I got the food poisoning, one quick way of getting rid of it is to drink a bunch of water. If you just continue to drink water until the icon for food poisoning disappears, what it seems like to me is that you're basically flushing it out of your system by drinking a lot of water. And again, I ate that mushroom, and now you see the icon in the lower left section of the screen there. There's a picture of a stomach with some green color inside the stomach to indicate that I got indigestion from eating that mushroom. And again, if I come over here and I just continue to drink water, and you see the gray bar on that icon slowly dissipating until I'm now cured. I no longer have the indigestion. I thought I piled some branches over here yesterday, or at least one, but I think that I did it, and then I may have exited out of the game without saving it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pile it right here for the moment. And I currently have my objective. When I press the up arrow key, I'm using, as I said yesterday, I'm using a desktop PC keyboard and mouse for my controllers. When I press up arrow, it displays my current objective, which is to build a sleeping spot. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gathering some of these natal grass and building up a little pile of them there. And what I was doing is I was pressing the space bar, if you saw on the left side of the screen after I started the build animation. It displayed the word build and it had that symbol that looked kind of like a spread out U, a flattened out squared off U shape. That was the symbol for the space bar on the keyboard. And each time I pressed the space bar, he kind of pounded down with his two hands on the pile of leaves. And you just do that multiple times until the construction finishes. And so he built a new sleeping area here. I'll show you this evolution. When you lay down on one of the sleeping areas, you have the option to sleep, to drop off one of the babies that you're carrying around. You can drop one or both of them off here. Or you can open this evolution menu, which you open by tapping E. After you open this, what it shows you is which neurons you've started working on or started building by doing things in the game. In this case, I have this motor skill called, if you look at the upper right part of that little window that opens there, it's called motricity. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. It says motor skill, the ability to switch hands with an item is acquired. Up till this point, I've only been able to pick things up and carry them in one hand, and I'm not able to use my other hand to do anything with. So now I have the ability to do that. I can pick something up with my right hand, switch it over to my left. That frees up my right hand, so I can now pick up a second item. And now I can alter the items. I can do things with 2 items, 1 in each hand. And so far, that's the only neuron that I've activated by doing things in the game. These others, when I cursor over them, you see that they're these black or real dark gray spots. These are other neurons that are available. They, as you activate and start up one of these, as they turn white, it will trigger the others to display, but I haven't done anything to start learning or to start activating them. As you can see when I cursor over it, for instance, this one is another one in the motricity tree. It says the development of motor skills has generated a new growth potential for situations forcing to stand up. More training is necessary. So what that tells me is I have to stand up while I'm doing things, and as I do that, I will gain energy, or I gain points in this neuron until it finally is able to be activated, to where I will turn it on basically. And same thing, this one is another motricity. It says generated a new growth potential when using senses. So that tells me I need to use my senses to train this neuron. And this one is for item manipulation. The more items I pick up, the more things that I switch from one hand to another, the more altering I do as I try to learn how to make tools and that sort of thing. This one is for reflexes, and this one is for building. As I build more things, this one will be trained. This one over here where it said it's related to reflexes, I'm assuming that's going to have something to do with climbing and perhaps dodging when an animal attacks, if I'm able to dodge. This one is communication skills, and this one is using intelligence to analyze the environment. So I need to spend more time looking, smelling, and hearing the things around me. And so let's get out of this. And the help menu popped up here now, is telling me that I've gained the ability to switch hands, to free up one hand, to free up the right hand. If I pick something up, I tap X to switch the item over to my left hand, and that frees up the right hand to pick up a second item. So let's see if we can't now use that ability to do something semi-useful. I laid a branch down over here, and I now forgot where there it is. So as you can see, I hit X, and it switches that item over to my left hand. Now my right hand is free. Everything that you do in the game in regards to what, as you see on this help menu where it says altering and crafting, things can be altered or crafted, but you do the action with your right hand. So in this case, I put the stick in my left hand, so now my right hand is empty. I can now use my right hand to try to alter this stick, to see if I can do something to it, to change it, to make it into something else, or to discover some ability with it. And if you look on the left side of the screen, my options are alter, and that symbol that I mentioned before looks kind of like a letter U that's spread out and flattened, that like a bracket that's pointed up. That's the symbol for the space key. So what that it means is if I press and hold the space key, as I was explaining yesterday, some keys you have to press and hold, others you just click one time. In this case, I have to press and hold the space key until he enters into the animation for altering the item. If you watch the symbol there next to the word alter on the left side of the screen, when I start to press and hold the space key, you see that blue circle starts to fill up around that symbol. And if I don't allow it to completely fill up, he does not begin the animation. He does not go into the alter, the window for altering or crafting items. You have to hold it long enough to complete the action. And then continue to hold it. And now while I'm holding it down, I have now the option that you see on the left there. It says alter and the symbol for the left mouse button. What I do is I press down on the left mouse button, and I'm going to hold it until I see a signal in the game. The game is going to give me a visual and an audio signal, a cue, telling me when to release that left mouse button. If I just press the button for a second and let go of it, and I don't wait for the signal, as you can see, he starts to try to do something to this branch, but he's not being successful because I'm not letting the game tell me when I should release it. You'll understand it better if I do it and you see and hear the signal. It's starting to rain now. Hopefully the sound of the rain is not going to overpower the signal that you need to hear. But it's an audio cue, and there's like a flash, like an outer edge of the screen. It's kind of like an outlined circle type animation on it. And there it was right there. And as you can see, by waiting for that cue, by waiting for that audio signal and that visual flash, he was able to alter this item. He stripped off the branches, all the little branches, and now he has basically just a stick without any extra little branches on it. So now I'm going to switch it back to his right hand. When you want to inspect something for the first time or check it out and examine it, it has to be in your right hand. And so there's my new discovery. I've learned how to make a stick by taking a branch and stripping all the extra little branches, little tiny branches from the sides. I've learned to take them off. So now I have a stick in my hand. I'm going to switch it back to my left hand because I cannot pick anything up with my left hand. I have to have my right hand empty to be able to pick something up. Let me click the X again and put the stick back in my right hand. The stick is in my right hand, and even though I'm standing or squatting right here in front of this stone that I normally would be able to pick up, you see on the left I do not have the option to pick up the stone because my right hand is not empty. I have something in my hand. I have to click X, switch it over to the left hand. Now my right hand is empty, and now I have the option to alter the thing that's in my left hand, which I'm not going to do because I've already done it. I've already altered the stick by stripping off the branches. And then below that I have the option to grab it, which is the rock, the stone that is highlighted there on the ground in front of me. So I grab that. Now you see I have options on the side of the screen: alter, drop, switch hands, or inspect. Inspect is at the very bottom. If the inspect was up at the top, that would be one way of alerting me to the fact that this item is something new for me and that I need to examine it and learn about it. But I've already examined these rocks. I think I did it yesterday in yesterday's video. So anyway, at the top of the list of options there is alter, again with the symbol for the space bar. I hold down the space bar until he enters this animation for altering, and now I have the alter option with the symbol for the left mouse button. Again, I'm going to press down on the left mouse button and hold it until I see that visual cue and the audio cue. They both happen at the same time. I have to time my release of the left mouse button to correspond with that cue. Basically, that's how I'm aiming the rock, and if I do not release the left mouse button at the proper time when that audio and visual cue flashes and sounds, I will not strike the stick at the proper time. I'll basically fail the action. There, I released, on that one I released the left mouse button before the audio cue. So even though he swung the rock, he missed the stick. He didn't gain any effort into the. And I'm not speaking, I'm not explaining what I'm doing, because I wanted you to be able to hear and see that audio cue and the visual cue that the game produces when it's trying to teach you the timing of when to release the left mouse button. Again, what I'm doing is I press down on the left mouse button and hold it until that cue appears and the sound plays. And there, now I've finally learned that I can alter a stick with that obsidian stone. So now I've created something new. So even though I examined that stick previously, before I started altering it, by altering it with the stone, by striking the stick with the stone, I've sharpened the end of it. And so it's now considered a new item. I'm going to click X to switch hands. So I'm going to switch the stone to my left hand and the sharpened stick back to my right hand. And now, because I've not examined this sharpened stick previously, this is the first time I've made one, my top option on the left side of the screen there is to inspect it by pressing and holding the Q key. And you can also hear that sound that I described yesterday. Every time you pick something up for the first time that you've not inspected, that you've not learned anything about, you'll hear that audio cue. And also, I don't know if you can see it right now, but from the stick there's those little kind of like tendrils of smoke indicating that this is a new item. Trying to find an area that's a little lighter. It's, if you look at the clock up at the top center of the screen, it's 1956. It's 4 minutes to 8 p.m. for those of you who don't understand military time, or 24-hour clock. So it's starting to get a little darker. But right there you can see those tendrils coming off of the stick that he's holding in his right hand. That and the sound that's playing in the background is the cue to tell me, hey, this is something new. You need to inspect it and learn something from it. So I hold down the Q key until he starts the animation. Once the animation starts, I can release the key and I don't have to continue holding it. And as you can see, it's a new tool discovery, a sharpened stick. And that will probably come in handy. I would imagine if something was to attack me, I could poke them with the stick. And not sure how effective it'll be, but we'll find out. That little display you're seeing right now, where the dark color, the black, seems to expand and from the top and bottom of the screen and come toward the center, covers up the screen and leaves just a strip in the center. That's a cue that I'm tired. I've been banging on that stick with a rock. I've been walking around here for a little bit. It's 8 o'clock at night, 2016, quarter after 8, 16 after 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the stone back down. Now I'm going to put my sharpened stick down somewhere where I can remember where it is. I'll stick it right here for now. Well, first I have to switch it back to my right hand, and then I can drop it. Everything you do with your right hand. Your left hand at this point in the game basically can only hold items. but your actions that you're doing, like dropping something on the ground or altering the item that's in your hand, you're doing the action with your right hand. So in this case, I had the stick in my left hand. Seems kind of tedious and redundant, but to drop it on the ground, I have to switch it to my left hand, to my right hand, and then drop it. I think, I'm not sure, but I think that you will learn the ability to drop items from both hands later on as your little ape-man expands his knowledge and his brain. So I'm going to come over here, lie down, and you see I have the option sleep, drop the child off, or open the evolution window. I'm going to open the evolution window because I've done a few things, and I know that I matured this neuron. This was from dexterity, as I said, from manipulating items, from doing things in the game. I picked that dead branch off the tree. Then I stripped off the little sticks from it. Then I used a rock to sharpen the end of it. So all of that enabled this neuron to become activated. And now I can spend some of these points, the neuronal energy, the XP, that this game refers to XP as neuronal energy. That's this white ball, this white circle that's in the center of this larger neuron, this graphical interface or graphical depiction of a neuron. This white will grow until it reaches the outer edge here. I believe that when it completely fills this, you've gained your maximum number of neuronal energy, your XP, and you can't gain any more until you spend some of it. That I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the way it works. So anyway, as you can see, I've gained some, and I can now spend it by cursoring over this neuron, as you see at the very bottom in the blue bar at the bottom of the window there, the bottom of that little pop-up. It says I can initiate it by pressing the left mouse button. So I left click on it. Now I've basically turned it on. I guess you could say I've initiated it, and I can now learn that neuron. I can learn this ability, item manipulation. It basically increases my ability it gives me better results when I'm manipulating items. But I have to learn it, and you learn it by spending these points right here. I've not found anywhere in the options to be able to see a numeric value, so I have no idea how many points that is. And I've not been able to find anything that shows me how many points I get for different actions in the game. Basically, you just see a flash on the screen when you're gaining neuronal energy, and you come into this screen and you can see this circle, this ball in the center gets larger and larger as you gain more neuronal energy. But I don't know exactly how many points there are. There may be some way of going into the game files and manipulating, hacking the game and being able to see that as a numeric value, but I'm not really that worried about it right now. Don't really care enough to do all that. Just letting you know, that's your neuronal energy. It will grow and grow and grow as you do and learn more things in the game, and do more things as you everything you do in the game gains you energy when you're training something. For instance, as you're learning to stand up on 2 feet, every time you stand up, even for a couple of moments, and take a few steps, you'll gain a few points of neuronal energy, and this ball will continue to expand until it fills this area right here. And then, as I said, I believe once it reaches the outer edge, you will not be able to gain any more until you spend some of it. Okay, I'm rambling. Let me shut up and we'll spend some of these points. Like I said, you cursor over this neuron at the bottom lower left corner of the screen. You see the option that says Learn, and click the left mouse button. This is another instance of you have to press it and then hold it. And then it slowly applies energy. Now I have learned a new ability, item manipulation, the ability to switch an item from one hand to the other while moving is acquired. Before I had to stop and be stationary to switch an item from my right hand to my left hand or back the other way. Now I can do it while I'm moving. And at the bottom of the screen where it says continue, you see the icon there for the space bar. I press space and back to this window. And what this does, each time you activate and learn one of these neurons, learn the skill associated with it, after you're done learning it and you've completely filled it with energy from this pool down here, then it will trigger others to display. And some of them, in this case, this one turned white. It's called a matured neuron. It says neuronal growth is complete. Assign neuronal energy to initiate how dexterity will be improved. It does not tell me exactly what I'm going to learn yet. I have to apply some energy to it to basically unlock it and then learn it. This happened because I was doing things in the game. Over here, this one is still black or dark gray. It has not turned white yet. And it says in the screen at the bottom of the pop-up window there, it says more training is needed. And this one is related to reflexes. So basically I have to go out and do things using my reflexes. I'm not 100% sure what all promotes the reflex growth. I'm assuming maybe climbing, jumping from one branch to another, stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that if I was to go out and meet up an animal and have to dodge from it, try to get away from it, that would most likely have something to do with reflexes as well. So like I said, when I started this first episode yesterday, I'm going to just play the game and you're going to watch me and listen to me learn as I go. I don't know all there is to know about this game. I don't pretend or try to promote myself as being some kind of expert at this game. You're watching me learn just like you would when the first time you played the game. So like I said, it says more training is needed. It's related to reflexes, so I've got to go out and do some things that cause me to use my reflexes. But again, back to this one. This one is matured. It says, bottom left of the pop-up window, it says I can initiate it, left click. Now if I want, it says once connected, it will be possible to drop an item while moving. Again, previously I was only able to drop items just like I did when I switched items from one hand to the other when I was stationary. But I learned here, I learned the ability to manipulate items from one hand to the other while I'm moving. This one gives me the ability to drop one of the items from my right hand while I'm moving. And again, bottom left corner of the screen there you see learn by pressing on the left mouse button. So I press and hold. That ball in the center of the main neuron there is getting smaller. I'm expending or using some of the points that I had acquired. And now I've learned a new ability, handling. The ability to drop an item while moving is acquired. Tap C to drop an item while moving. So I press this space bar to get out of that, and you saw as a side effect of having learned this one, it triggered this one to display. The ability to move with items can improve if dexterity is sufficiently developed, as the ability to respond to threat. So that's what I was talking about here with the reflexes. This one is more specific. Something attacks me and I'm going to be trying to run and scream like a girl, trying to get away from it. We'll see how that works. I've not actually had that happen yet in the game, so we'll see what a fool I make of myself, how many times I die getting attacked by creatures in the game. Okay, so use, in this case, because I'm using the keyboard and the mouse, to get out of this window, I tap backspace and it exits me out. It's not very intuitive. I would have thought that I would have pressed the escape key to get out of there, but I learned through trial and error that to get out of that window, I have to use the backspace key. So I was lying down here when I opened up that evolution menu through the E key. I'm going to continue to lie here. I'm going to press and hold Z because it's now, as you can see by the clock, it's 8:30. I'm going to advance the game until morning. Normally I only sleep a few hours. That's all that's necessary to regain all my rest that I need. But when I'm recording this, it makes it hard for you to see things when it's nighttime, when it's dark. So I'm going to advance the game. It's now 7, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. You know, he slept in a few hours, lazy old bugger. It's 9:15 a.m. As you can see, this display in the very center, lower center of the screen now, that green ball has shrunk down because hours have passed by since I ate yesterday. I ate, drank water and all that. And again, as you can see, the green ball, the green circle shrank down as I used up the liquid in my body and the food the water and the food. So now I have to replenish those. By replenishing the food and water, that green circle will grow, will go back. And as I was explaining yesterday, when you're eating or drinking something that is replenishing this energy, this green circle, you'll see that yellow flash. You need to continue doing that, whatever you're doing, whether you're eating or drinking. As long as that flash happens each time you do the thing that you're doing, in this case drinking the water. Each time I take a drink of water, I see a yellow flash. I need to continue drinking water until the flashes stop. When the yellow flash does not occur when I drink water, that means I've drank enough water. I'm completely hydrated. And apparently these guys are related to camels because they drink a huge amount of water. So he drank until the yellow flash no longer happens when I drink the water, so he no longer needs any more water, but he now needs food. I have not completely filled that green circle. You can still see some of the red around it. So I explained all that in more detail, or probably too much detail yesterday. I'm just touching on it again today. Come over here, grab this horse tail. I'll eat that. You see the yellow flash on the green ball down there, telling me that what I'm doing is replenishing some of that energy. And I need to continue eating until I no longer see the yellow flash. And between me and the other apes in the clan, it looks like we've cleaned out most of the berries that were on these two bushes here. Again, I don't pretend to know a whole lot about the game mechanics yet. The berries on this bush appear to be gone also. I do not know how long it takes them to regrow. I'm fairly certain they do regrow, but I don't know how quickly they will reappear. So I need to go find some more food because I still have some more of that red bar there, or that red outline around the green circle there in the center. It's not a huge amount. As you can see, there's not that much of the red exposed. So it's not an issue where I'm starving. It's not like I need to eat right away or something bad is going to happen. It's just that I have not refilled my little energy battery by eating. I have not completely refilled it. So I still have a little room in my belly, but I'm still able to do things. As I said yesterday, you expend energy when you're doing things. As I'm walking, you see that green circle down there flashing. I'm not expending much energy when I'm walking. When I do something that's more strenuous, like climbing, you see that that green circle flashes in a more dramatic way to indicate that I'm spending a greater amount of energy doing that. It takes more energy to climb than it does to walk. So I'm going to come out here and see if I can't look around, find some food. I know that based on what I was reading in that neuronal page, the thing that I opened when I was activating the neurons, it was saying that some of those neurons, to be able to be activated, I needed to use my senses in addition to walking around and manipulating items. So I'm going to use some of my senses here. I tap E. If you see the options on the left there, the top one where it says letter Z to stand up, if you stand up while you're in this screen, let me move and show it again. Okay, I tap E to open that intelligence screen. As you can see, there's icons around me that I can focus on to start trying to learn about some of the things in my environment around me. If you stand up, if I tap the Z key, when he stands up, it increases the range at which I can see those icons, the things that you see when you hit E. I tapped E. Now I'm going. Now, if you watch the icons, I'm going to look over this direction. See, there's the one that's yellow that I'm focused on. There's another box that's to the right of that that's white. I'm not focused on that one. And then there's a few smaller ones down below. They're diamond shaped. Now watch when I tap the Z key to stand up. You see the one that appeared right up here was not there before. That's a little bit further away. I was not able to see it or to sense it because I was squatted down. By standing up, I extend my range. I am able to see further away, basically, by standing up. Also, you gain a little bit of XP every time you stand up. So that's another reason why you should be doing that. So again, to use the senses, I need to start looking around at things, focusing on them, and trying to learn a little bit about the stuff that's in the environment around me. Each time I examine and identify something, you saw the flash in the lower right around those circles down there. That indicated that I learned some XP by doing that. Now this one showed a question mark when I examined it, or when I tried to identify it, meaning this is something I've not seen before. So I picked one up, press and hold Q. And a new tool discovery. This is a new type of rock. So up till now I've seen granite, I believe it was granite, and the obsidian back there at the clan settlement area. So now I've discovered this one. And I gained a little XP by doing that. I was looking around to see if there was a tree with dead branches around here that I could make another sharpened stick. I think each time I do those things that I'll gain some more XP. And again, I got a little bit of food poisoning. And as I said, I'm not 100% exactly how that mechanic works, if it's random or something that I will learn the ability to be able to differentiate between ripe berries and bad berries, rotten berries that may give me a bad stomach. So anyway, I've got a bad stomach. I'm going to bring this rock over here, switch hands, and drop it. And I'll go over here and drink a bunch of water to flush the food poisoning out. And you see the icon that was down there in the lower left disappeared. I now don't have indigestion or bad stomach, whatever that was. Food poisoning. Again, I'm not sure why I can eat the berries, and sometimes I just gain the refilled energy from eating, and other times when I eat them, I get a sick stomach. I don't know if there's a difference in the colors that I'm not paying attention to. Actually, now that I say that, I slightly moved the ape so he's facing away from them, so none of the berries are highlighted. If you look on the left side of, as I'm looking at the bush from the viewpoint of the camera, there's two berry clusters on the left side. To my view, it looks like they're darker red. And to the left of my ape, to the right of my ape, there's two berry clusters close together right above his head right now. Those appear to me to have a slightly different color. And I don't know if that's just a lighting thing or if that's the actual thing that I should have been paying attention to, that those the lighter colored ones are not as ripe or ready to eat as these darker colored. Let me grab this darker colored one, move over here, and I'm going to eat it and see what happens. Oh, I held the left mouse button down too long. After he finished eating, he grabbed the rock. I'm going to put it back down. Okay, so the darker colored, the ones that is a brighter red, seems to be ripe, and maybe the one that is right here above his head, actually I can't even highlight it to try to pick it up. Maybe that's just a different colored leaf. Or maybe I'm completely wrong what I'm saying and thinking here. Although it does seem that some of these berries have different colors. The red on this one that's highlighted right there above the baby's head is darker red, and then right above it, the ones above it seem to be a little bit lighter. So maybe that's how I should have been, what I should have been looking for to know whether they were edible, ready to be eaten yet. This is different. These are like red leaves on this bush, not berries. And it's giving me the indication this is a new item. I need to examine it. Oh, and that gives us a buff of sorts. In case you're not aware, if I did not explain it, if you look at the lower left side of the screen here, where the icon of the eye and that swoop symbol that looks like a horn, kind of like a drinking horn. To the right of that, there are now two shields with symbols in them. One has, might be hard to see to understand what it is. The one on the left is actually supposed to depict a broken bone. This shield with the broken bone in it is an indication that I now have a buff that helps protect me against broken bones. And then to the right of that, the other shield has what looks like a snowflake in it. That is a symbol for a buff to help protect me against cold. So the more that there's, if you look at those two shields, the one with the snowflake in it, the symbol for the cold buff, the bar at the bottom is a little larger than the one on the broken bone buff. Those two bars, the more you eat of whatever the item is that gave you the buff, the more that bar will expand and go toward the top. And when it reaches the very top of the shield and completely covers the background of the shield, your buff is maxed out to the max that it can get. And then what happens is, as you're playing the game, for instance, if I was to fall and fall from a high enough distance that I normally would have got a broken bone, the game will apply this buff, and I guess some of it is RNG, the random numbers, the randomness of it, and the buff will be used up. So depending on how much of the buff you have, you may use up all. Like right now I only have a small amount. That bar is only slightly above the bottom because I only ate one of these clusters of red leaves. If I eat some more, as you can see, those bars are filling up. I'm gaining more of the buff until the one with the snowflake is now maxed out. And if I eat a little bit more, the other one should get maxed out. There, now it's maxed out. Now, if I was to fall out of a tree, I would use up some or all of that buff to protect me against a broken bone. Now, if I fall from too high of a distance, I will probably get the broken bone no matter what. I'll probably use up the buff and still get the broken bone, but I believe that it lessens the effect that you would have, the falling effect, and it helps protect you against getting the broken bones. So as I said, once you're out in an area and you're learning about things around you by interacting with them, you're gaining the XP, the neuronal energy, by that white flash that appears on the circle in the lower right corner there. A dead hominid. I'm going to memorize that so that I don't have to keep looking for the icon. And that's a long way down. I think I can jump over there, and let's climb up here to that icon that I just memorized. There's a dead hominid, a dead monkey up here, a dead ape man. And let's see what's going on over here. Oh, this is the one that got killed by the big bird yesterday. Oh, that was bad. I was just attacked by that same giant bird, and I panicked and I just blindly leapt out of this damn tree. As I was saying, you see the two buffs over here, the one for broken bones and the one for cold? They were maxed out. I just fell from a very, very high distance. I did not gain any broken bones or damage, but as you see, the buff has been almost used up. If the bar went down to where there's just a tiny bit of it left at the bottom of the shield now. So that, what it did is it applied the buff depending on how far I had fallen and how much potential there was for a broken bone. It would use up more or less of the buff. So basically, you see, I used up most of that, but it did prevent me from getting a broken bone. And here's another hominid we've just discovered, and he appears to be in some kind of distress. Now, I know that there's, in the game, I watched this in somebody else's video, or I read it on one of those guides, I don't remember where, but it seems to me that there's different visual signals they're giving. When you find these hominids, depending on what they're doing, they're basically trying to communicate what's wrong with them. And to get this hominid, this ape man, to join my clan, I need to cure whatever is wrong with him, and that basically will cause him to become friendly, and then he'll join the clan. So I need to figure out right now. It seems like he's holding his throat, and then his head, and then he sticks out his tongue a little bit. I'm thinking he's thirsty, maybe. So maybe, I don't know how I would bring water to him. This is something else we'll have to learn. Let me offer him some of these red leaves and see what happens. I press C to give whatever is in my right hand to him. Ah, he took them and ate them. Befriended a thirsty outsider to have a new clan member. Okay, I was not aware that the red leaves helped quench your thirst. So I befriended him. Let's see if I can give him some more of those leaves. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. He's following me now. Let me give him another leaf. Okay, he's following me, so I would think that it's probably a good idea to take him back to to my clan area, which I know is up here somewhere. I've got to figure out how to get up there safely without falling and breaking my neck again. Let's see, I believe these big vines around this tree will lead us up there. And hopefully, yeah, he's following me. I don't know if I can leap all the way over there. Let's try. Hey, we did it. And he's still following, I think. I don't know where he went now. Maybe he didn't leap so well. Oh, he is following me right there. Oh, I have an option to end expedition. I'm assuming that because I befriended that hominid and he's following me, that's considered an expedition. He and I were teamed up. We were an expedition. it says I can end the expedition or lie down. I'm going to right click that ended the expedition. Oh, it starts a cutscene. Okay, we're welcoming. I'm telling all the other clan members, hey, look, here's this new guy. Welcome him into our clan. Or that's my interpretation of what I just saw. Okay, so now we have a new clan member. That's cool. And by using the E key, when you get close to the other apes, as you see the options here, analyze, groom, or follow me. When you analyze them, you can discover, in this case, his name is Ko. He's an adult male, he's single, and he has the buff for the protection for the broken bones and the cold. When I analyze this one, this is Ra, an adult female. She's single and fertile. I also, after I examine her, I now have the option, as you can see on the left there, switch, groom, or follow me. Also, in case I didn't show it, if you forget what your name is and you want to see details about yourself, when you're not examining another ape, another clan member, I'll move over here away from them. I tap escape, and as you look at the upper left corner, now you see that the information about me, about the ape that I'm controlling right now. The name is D, adult male, single, and he has the buff for the cold buff. The buff for the falling is gone. I've used it up because I fell out of that tree and leapt a couple of times. When I leaped down from that other one, I think I used up a little bit of it also. And again, go back to resume. When you examine with the E key, you now have the ability, if you look on the left side there, I can switch left mouse button. If I click the left mouse button, I will now leave the body of the ape that I'm controlling right now that's carrying the babies around. I'll leave this one, and I will now take control of the one I'm examining, which is Ko, the new member of the clan that I just brought back from out in the jungle. I'll now take control of him. And as you can see now, I'm looking back at the ape that I was before, and I'm now controlling this new guy. And the reason I did that is I wanted to show how you breed the animals, how you breed your clan members, because one of the important things that you need to do constantly in this game is you need to increase the size of your clan by having babies. And the only way you have babies is to form couples between your clan members. Maybe drink some water and eat a little bit of food, because I see that his green circle down there in the center of the screen still has some red around it. Okay, he drank a bunch of water and it's not flashing, so that means he needs food. And I've got to go find some over here. The berries are still gone. Like I said earlier, I don't know how long it takes the berries to regrow. It looks like I'm going to have to go out here and eat some of the berries around those bushes out there. Hopefully the berries regrow on the bushes there in our clan area, or I can see that this could become an issue as the clan grows and gets more members. We're going to be running out of food. And I think that's probably done on purpose to push us into exploring and expanding our territory, finding new areas. Okay, he ate berries, and I wasn't seeing any yellow flashes. So the only other item, the only other of the three needs that need to be met, again, it's water, food, and sleep. So he drank water, he ate food, and the red bar is still there, so that indicates that he needs to sleep. So I'm going to lie down, press and hold the Z key, and put him to sleep. And it's midnight, it's dark, so it's hard for you guys to see on the video, so I'm going to sleep till morning. And now it's indicating that he's thirsty. Again, you have to continue drinking or eating, whichever one you're doing at the moment that's causing the yellow flashes. You continue until the yellow flashes stop. They're no longer flashing. That indicates that he now has replenished everything. And what I wanted to show you was reading. Press. This is Co. He's an adult male. He's single. As you see, it does not indicate that he is paired or bonded with any other clan member. So to form a bond, you have to find another clan member of the opposite sex. In this case, he's a male, so I need to find a female who indicates, when I examine her, that, where are you going? Apparently she's shy. Not even sure if it's a he or a she. I didn't get a chance to examine. Analyze. Okay, see this one, when I analyze it, the little pop-up came up there right over top of our heads there. It says the name is More, adult female. It does not say single. In this case, it says coupled with lock. This one is already in a bonded pair, and she's already had 2 babies. As you see below that green circle where it says coupled with lock, then below that is the green circle indicating her life energy, and then below that, those 2 names, those are her 2 offspring, her 2 children, 2 babies that she has had. Each female in this game can only have 2 babies. Once they've been mated and given birth to 2 babies, they cannot be mated and cannot give birth to any more babies. Even if she was to dissolve the relationship with the lock, with the one that she's currently bonded with, if she was to go and become bonded with a different male, she still would not be able to have babies because she's already had her 2 max that she's allowed to have. The game only allows each female to have 2 babies. So I need to hunt around through the clan members. I need to find a single female so that I can show you how you form a couple. Adult male. This is Locke. This is the one that's bonded with the one I was looking at previously. And through happenstance, through coincidence, it's possible to end up with more males than females, so that say now this is D. This is the one I was controlling before. He is an adult male and he's single. So I'm controlling this guy right here. He's a single male. This is D. He's a single male. I just went and examined the other 2 adults in the clan. Oh, here's one that I missed. I overlooked this one. Here's Raw, adult female. She's single. This one is not bonded with another. So this is a perfect example to show you how you bond two two of the hominids, two of your apes, to create a couple so that you can breed. If you look on the left side of the screen now, I have the option to switch, groom, ask her to follow me, or rename. I can change the name. The switch would allow me to take control of her, and I would then be that monkey rather than the one I'm controlling right now. The second option below that, it says groom. Right mouse button. You press and hold the right mouse button until you enter this screen, this animation. And it's just like the altering of the sticks and the stones. I press and hold the right mouse button, and I wait for that audio chime and the visual cue, that flashing circle that appears around the screen. And then I release the button. If I don't time it just right, I'll fail the action. You have to successfully groom the other ape multiple times until you fill the bar above the word bond, or below the word bond. You see where it says bonding, and that bar is slowly filling up? And there I've formed a couple. If I had released the button at the wrong time, the bar would have gone the other way and it would have got smaller, and she would have continued to, I'll do it once here real quick. See, I released it without hearing the chime, and she kind of flinched at me, used her shoulder and elbow to kind of push me away, basically saying, hey, you're not doing it right, get off me. So I've now formed a couple with this female. I guess she's had enough of me, she took off. Let me come back over here. I get close enough to highlight her, and then I tap E to analyze. And now as you see, it says her name Raw, adult female, and where it said single before, it now says coupled with co, C-O. That's me, I'm co. So, below the green circle, under the coupled with co, the green circle that indicates her energy, you see fertile. There's no indication of names, no offspring named. Once she mates and gives birth, then the names of her babies will appear down there. And again, each female can mate and give birth 2 times. So now to mate and to create offspring, I have to come to a resting spot, one of the little bed mats that we made. Tap Z to lie down, and now you look on the left, you see the option to sleep, and now there's a new one called call mate, the right mouse button. I click, and he goes through an animation saying, hey woman, get over here. It's probably not politically correct, but you know what, I don't give a shit. My game, my video. If the way I speak and act and talk does not please you, you're free to stop the video and move on to something else. So again, I right click to call mate. She's now right here beside me. You see her, she's crouched down right next to me there. And now the options have changed over here, where I now have the option sleep, mate, or evolution. And mate, again, is the right mouse button. And in this case, instead of just clicking it, you have to hold down the right mouse button. And what it'll do is it'll start a cutscene. The camera will fade up so that you cannot see, you don't actually see your apes mating. I guess they made the game so that it can be played by children, and it's G-rated and all that. I'll show you, I'll hold down the right mouse button, and you see the screen, the camera changes the view, and now they're done mating. And now you see the announcement, the text in the center of the screen. It said new pregnancy. Now on my options over here, I have the option sleep, give birth, and evolution. The new one is in the center there, give birth. Again, it's the right mouse button. Now this is one mechanic that to me seems a little wonky. It's not actually it's not right. I'm the male, but yet I'm able to give birth by pressing the right mouse button, even though I'm not controlling the female. I would have thought that I would have needed to analyze her and then use the button to switch control to where I become her. I'm now controlling the female, and then I would have the option to give birth. But the way they've set up the game, the two of us just mated. She's pregnant. I can now press the right mouse button to give birth. And then it will again play a cutscene. This cutscene, I already know because I've done it before, is a little longer, and I'm going to go ahead and let it play. And just to let you know, if you're not aware of it, when these cutscenes play and after you've given birth to multiple babies, it gets really redundant and repetitive because you have to watch that same cutscene over and over and over again as you're expanding the population of your clan. If you do not want to watch the cutscene, if you look at the lower left corner when the cutscene is playing, you'll see the word dismiss, and there's an icon of two arrows pointing left and right. That's for the keyboard, that is the icon for your tab key. When the cutscene starts, you press and hold the tab key. You'll see the little blue circles start to fill up around the symbol. You have to hold it long enough for that symbol to fill up, and then it will bump you out of the cutscene and you don't have to watch it. Similar to other games where you just press the escape to jump out of the cutscene and bypass it. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and let it run. This will be the first time we've seen this cutscene in this playthrough. So I press and hold the right mouse button. There's the cutscene starts. Like I said, bottom left corner, you see the word skip, and that symbol to the next, right to the left of it, the two arrows pointing in left and right. That's the symbol for the tab key on the keyboard. If I was to press that, I could bypass this whole thing. But I'm going to go ahead and let it play. It's the first time on this playthrough. In the future, as I create more babies, I'll skip out of the cutscene just so the video doesn't have to be quite as long. I already make the videos longer than most people probably appreciate. Most people would rather they were shorter because I ramble on a lot, as you've probably noticed. I talk and talk and talk, and I could probably make them a lot shorter, get to the point. But this is the way I am, and this is the way I do things. And as I said, you take it or leave it. You don't like it, stop the video and move on to something else. I am the way I am, and that's that. Okay, so I just gave birth. There's the little baby. He's kind of squished in there between the two of us. He's actually kind of melded into my back. The graphics or the display, the game is rendering him inside my body a little bit. Anyway, now on the options there on the left, you see sleep, mate, and evolution. As I said, each female can have a maximum of 2 babies. So she has had 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mate and have the other baby right now, just to demonstrate it again, and also because I want to expand this clan, increase our population. So I press and hold the right mouse button, and again the camera looks away, gives them some privacy so they can do their thing in private. There, new pregnancy, and now I have the option to give birth. Again, on the left side, you see it in the center, sleep, give birth, and evolution. Give birth is a center one. Right mouse button again, press and hold that. This time when that cutscene starts, I'll use the tab key to skip through it. The cutscene starts, I press and hold. You see that blue circle appeared around, and it jumped us right through and past that cutscene. So now I have 2 babies there. Now, the option to mate with her has reappeared. It's still there. However, if I mate with her, the camera will move away. They'll go through the same animation there, you know, where it does the same thing as it did the previous 2 times, as though they're mating. But when they're done, and when the camera comes back down to show the apes down here, the text saying new pregnancy will not appear on the screen. And I can mate with her as often as I want, but she will not become pregnant again. she's had her maximum 2 babies. Each female in your clan can have a maximum of 2 babies. So as you grow your clan, you basically cannot just keep breeding with the same females and create a never-ending supply of babies. You can only have 2. Each couple can only have 2 babies. So that basically is a game mechanic to force you to go out and acquire more clan members by finding them out in the wilds, out in the jungle, like I did with the other one that I gave the leaves to and brought him back. So we've now created 2 babies. Let me get up here. Now I'm going to move so that I can highlight the babies. And you can see I have the option there in the center. I have analyze, piggyback, and lie down. Center one, right mouse button is piggyback and piggyback. So now I have both of the babies on, carrying them around just like I was when I was controlling this ape over here. And as I said, you need to carry the babies around with you when you're doing things to increase the amount of XP. It gives you a bonus to the XP that you're earning. If you only carry 1 baby, you'll still gain the XP, the neuronal energy, but you'll gain a little less than you would if you had 2 babies. So I'm going to go out here with my sharpened stick because I remembered that we discovered a fishing spot over here. If you remember, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was today in this episode, I don't remember, but we discovered this fishing spot. And now by holding that sharpened stick in my hand, you see when I get close to that fishing spot, it highlights. And on the options over here on the left, you see the option to poke by pressing the left mouse button. And this is just like the other altering things that I was doing where I was banging rocks and sharpening sticks. I press poke and I press the left mouse button and I have to hold it down until the audio and visual cue appears to tell me to release the button. And if I time it just right, hopefully I will be able to, basically I'm spear fishing with this little sharpened stick. I'm trying to poke a little fish out of there. So let's see if we can time it and get it done. And there was the cue. And even though I did get the fish. He's very small. I didn't see him on the end there. Let me move up here in the light so we can see. I actually did it in a playthrough a couple days ago, and the fish was a lot bigger. This one, let me examine it so it'll lift it up. This one actually looks like a crawdad, some kind of a shellfish. And as you can see, that smoky animation that's coming off of the shellfish on the end of the stick, that indicates that it's a new item for me that I need to examine it. Well, as you can see, I'm holding the stick in my right hand. I press and hold Q. He examines the stick, but he's not actually examining the shellfish. I need to get the shellfish off of the stick so he can hold it in his hand. So we need to switch the stick to the left hand. Now the option appears on the left side of the screen there, alter or switch hands. Alter, I press the space bar. Now I've entered the altering screen or the crafting screen, whatever you want to call it. And now to alter, I press and hold the left mouse button. And again, I'm going to hold it until I hear and see that cue telling me that I need to release it at the right time. And I did that, and now it's kind of hard to see, but he has the shellfish in his right hand. So now I'm going to press and hold Q, and he's looking at it like, what the heck is that thing? And a new food discovery, crayfish. I called it a crawdad. Crayfish. And I'm going to eat that, and we'll see if he gets sick from it. Yeah, I got sick from it. It says your lineage cannot assimilate nutrients from the oviparous kind of food. In this case, a genetic mutation is needed. Food from oviparous improves your neuronal energy capacity. So basically, I have to keep eating different kinds of animals and fish and different things and unlock some neurons that will allow me to become basically more of an omnivore, something that can eat plants and meat and different things. So let me switch this to my right hand. Let me drop it and go back to the water and flush the bad fish out of my belly. And now I'm going to move back over here to the sleeping area. I'm going to lie down. I'm going to open the evolution window because I know that I've gained some XP. See, the circle, this white circle has enlarged as I've learned things. So now I'm going to spend some of it. The ability to gather all clan members is acquired. Hold I'm sorry, that's the right mouse button icon. Hold the right mouse button to gather all clan members and have them follow you. So my understanding after reading that is that now I have the ability to call everybody in the clan and we'll all move out as a group and go do some things. Now get out of that. I use the middle mouse button to zoom in closer to the screen and out. Each time I roll my mouse button back, it clicks one click. As I do each click, I move out. When I move out to this point, you see the screen changes. It's now telling me to pass a generation, you must be an adult, be in your clan's active settlement, and the clan must have at least one kid. I have 4. All reinforcements must be done. What that means is, if you look on the right corner, the right side of the screen here, it says 4 reinforcements. For each baby that you have in your clan at the time, you gain 1 reinforcement point. I have 4 babies, so I have 4 reinforcement points. There's another thing in the game you can do where you go out and discover these meteorites that fall down. And if you go out and discover the impact spot, the part where the place where the meteorite struck the ground, and you'll find this little smoking stone, the little smoking rock meteorite stuck in a hole in the ground. If you go out and find that, you gain reinforcement points for doing that based on how many children you have with you when you do it. So for instance, if I'm controlling an ape and I put 2 babies on that ape, piggyback 2 babies, then I ask the females or other apes in my clan to follow me, and they're carrying babies. If I have 4 babies and I take all 4 babies with me, then I will gain 4 more reinforcement points for finding that meteorite, which right now I don't know where it's at. I haven't even done that yet, but this is based on what I saw in someone else's videos and other guides that I've been scanning through on the internet. I gain a reinforcement point for each baby that I have in the clan, and then I can gain additional reinforcement points for each child that I carried with me when I went to look at one of the meteorites that fall down periodically. What you use those reinforcement points for is, right now, I have these 2 neurons basically unlocked, and I've learned the skill, in this case, item manipulation, the ability to switch an item from one hand to the other. I've learned that. However, if I pass my generation, if I move my clan forward in time, the elders will die off. The adults will become elders. The children, the 4 babies I have, will become adults. That's what is meant by passing a generation. I've moved forward in time. If I do that without locking in these two neurons, these new abilities that I have, if I do not lock them in, I lose them when I pass a generation. So you have to gain reinforcements. I have 4 right now from the 4 babies that I have. I can lock 4 of these neurons. In this case right now I only have 2 that are ready. As you can see, when I cursor over it, the screen little pop-up help window opens up there. It says item manipulation, describes what it is, tells me tap X to switch an item from one hand to the other while moving. At the very bottom it says reinforce, and it shows the icon for the left mouse button. If I click on that, I've just locked in that skill. And as you see now, I only have 3 reinforcement points left. I come over here to this other one. Again, left mouse button, I click on it. I've used another one. Now I have 2 reinforcements left. I could, if I had 2 more neurons unlocked, I'd be able to lock them in. In this case, I don't yet have any of these others ready to be locked in yet. These right here, even though they show abilities when I cursor over it, there's 4 of them. There's this one, says motor skill. This one is kinesics. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. The ability to gather all clan members is acquired. Over here, intelligence, and over here, senses. I haven't unlocked these yet. When these 4 get opened up and turned white, you don't need to lock them in. Once you open them and learn them, as I have this one and this one down here, they're locked in automatically. So these 2 I need to work on, get them opened up. They will not require one of these reinforcement points to keep them. If I change the generation, advance the generation, I won't lose these 4 if they're open and all and white like these 2 are. It's only these outer ones. Once you start acquiring these skills out here in this tree, as you acquire them, you need to lock them in before you advance your generation to the next, to the next generation. And you can only lock in the number that corresponds to how many reinforcement points you have. In this case, I had 4. I have the ability to lock in 4 of these. I only have 2 ready right now. Now, I as an example, or to demonstrate it, I locked in these 2, but I'm not going to change my generation because I don't want to waste these other 2 reinforcement points. I want to open up a couple more of these neurons first before I change the generation. So I'm going to exit out of this screen by tapping the backspace key. When I do that, I come back out into the game. Now I'm going to go back into that evolution menu just to show you what happened. You see now I have 4 reinforcement points again, and these 2 are no longer reinforced. They're no longer locked in. So just remember that if you lock in these 2 and then leave this window without advancing your generation to the next generation, you'll have to lock them in again the next time you come back to this window. It voids them out or returns it back to this state each time you exit. So I just wanted to show you that. That's something I was not aware of at the beginning. I was in a situation like this. I had 2 that were ready, so I locked them. Then I exited this window, went on, did some more things in the game, came back, and they were no longer locked. And that's when I figured out that they only stay locked as long as you're in this window, and they stay locked long enough so that you can, as I said, you lock them, and now the option appears down at the center of the screen to change the generation. I would advance 1 generation. As I said, that means that however many elders you have currently, they will die off. The adults that you have currently will become elders, and however many babies you have will then become adults. So you move forward 1 generation. And that happens by pressing as you see the icon above the text where it says change generation, that icon right above that is the space bar. If I was to hit the space bar right now, I would spend those 2 reinforcement points, these two would be locked in. I would still know these abilities, and I would then lose some of my monkeys and whatnot, and I would lose these two reinforcements that I haven't spent yet, and I would have to start the next generation, make some more babies, get more generation or reinforcement points, and then learn some more skills and all that. So like I said, I'm not going to do that now. I want to learn the skills now, 2 more, use the points, and then I'll advance the generation. And with all that rambling and whatnot, I'm going to end the video here because I've probably bored the shit out of anybody who's watching this. I know I go on and on and on, and people would probably rather that I get to the point and be more brief, but I'm not. That's just the way I am. So I'm laying down here. I'm going to sleep so that I can save the game. It's 12 o'clock, so I'm going to sleep till about 3 in the afternoon. They'll take their midday nap, I guess you call it. There's the little display of dreaming that appears. It's now 4:46, almost 5 o'clock. Okay, the game's saved, so I'm going to exit out of the game, quit, yes, and I'm done.